Hi, I'm Amar, and this is Trip Train Trilogy. Today I'll be talking about my trip to the 2017 Maryland Renaissance Festival. So, unlike most vlogs, I am not going to be talking in the footage that I made. And if you're wondering why, here is a clip of me trying to talk at the events.
Hey, this is amazing. I don't know how to talk to the camera, actually. That's pathetic. I am pathetic. It's true.
So yes, you see that? Do you really think you need to ask why I'm instead talking right here to you instead of there? In fact, even in a dorm room, I feel awkward talking just because the walls are thin and I don't know my suite mates and I don't want people to hear me because I'm socially awkward, as we already established. Me and my friends, who you probably won't believe exist because they're not going to be in the footage or pictures because I don't want to put them online without asking them, except one who said I could put her in the video. So looks like I have at least one friend. So all of you in the comments who thought I had no friends in real life, ha. So we drove on to the fairgrounds and we entered the festival. I've actually never been there before, so I had no clue what would be there, except for I knew that it was somewhat of a glorified shopping trip. So we got there, they made one of my friends dump out her drink, but didn't make anyone else dump out their drinks because they didn't search your bags. And I got the brochure for it. It's actually a pretty quality brochure. It looks like the ones they have at Disney with a picture. But then like the inside is like all prints because they got cram a bunch in there. But then they have a pretty cool map actually. And the first thing we did was pretty much go look around at shops. And there was some pretty cool stuff at the shops. First thing we saw was this mug shop with some hilarious mugs. And I'm like, I want you. But I'm cheap and I wanted to look at everything before I bought anything. And then we went to some jewelry stores and we also went to some clothing stores with magnificent clothing. It was beautiful. It was all Renaissance themed. The first one we went to was more like formal, wealthy people's clothing. And then the second one was my people's type of clothes. And by my people, I mean the peasants. And I got this from the Bronze Dragon, and it's the only souvenir I got because I'm cheap. But as you can see, it's a pretty cute tiara. It's really one of the cheaper ones, though I wouldn't call it cheap per se because everything there is pretty high priced, but it's also all handmade. But then one of the coolest places there that was more of a fangirl type thing was the Crafty Celts, which I didn't get anything from, but I got their business card for their website, which I plan to go on, which is just called the Crafty Celts. And the reason I was so excited about it was because and I didn't know this till I got there, some of their jewelry they crafted by hand was used in the TV show Vikings. This show is awesome. That literally does nothing. That literally does nothing great. Was in the TV show Vikings. They made the bracelet Ragnar gave to Athelstan. Can you believe that? You probably don't know what I'm talking about. Okay, moving on. Now that I explained some of it, here's some of the shopping places and the cool stuff they had.
Tavern Wench?
That's me. Tavern Wench.
Even though the shopping, the food, and hanging out with my friends who at least one exist, the others may not. The main reason I went was because I wanted to go in a Renaissance atmosphere, see how it was like, and see a couple of the shows. And they were pretty fun. We saw some people performing Shakespeare. We saw a woman climb up like a silk, like just a long silk like scarf almost, really high into the trees without a net or any sort of harness. She just like literally scaled it, twirled around a bunch, and then just came back down. She like shot down too. It was like, I was kind of nervous because I was like, there's no harness, there's no harness, there's no net, and there's a hard ground beneath her. Best chance she's got if she slips is that guy catching her, which I think would just end up with them both in the ER. But she scaled that thing like nothing. She didn't even look tired afterward. And it was like, what? But anyway, my favorite show, which isn't really that surprising, was the jousting. The story was there's this princess of the Persian Empire, and her father said that she had to marry. And she wasn't really into that. She was a pretty good horse rider too. But she was like, fine, Dad, I'll have this competition where 4 champions must compete for my hand. And so the one that was in our group where we were sitting was Solomon the Magnificent. And we were the best cheerers in the entire stadium. And it was pretty fun seeing them do tricks and stuff. But we saw the early show and they were like, come back to the second show to find out who wins. And we were like, no, we're gonna do other stuff. So I have no clue if he won. I'm assuming he won because he won my heart. So there was a big joust where they like speared like a wooden thing. Then they like caught hoops on their sticks. And then they did like an obstacle race course type thing. And then at the end, they actually just like jousted each other, which was pretty fun. However, I think the thing I liked the most was just like getting to root for someone, be like, yeah, you can do it, Solomon, and then booing at the other people because we're pieces of crap and we're the type of people who do that. But the funniest part was when there was this one rider. He had short blonde hair. He had like a bruise and like a mark right there on his eye. We didn't know his name, so we were like, he's Scarface, even though I think it was just a bruise. But we were like, that's Scarface because none of us can figure out his name. So he came over to our side after doing some tricks and we were like, boo, and he's just like rolling his eyes, being like, yeah, shut up, I don't give a crap what you think. And then Solomon comes over and those two were just like going at each other, and it was like the best part, just seeing those two hating on each other and like booing one. And I'm like, even though you're kind of pompous, it's very entertaining. my entire trip to the Renaissance Festival. I hope you liked this little chat video. I know it wasn't the usual, but get over it. I'll be back to my normal bookish content next week, so I'll see you later.